I prefer the food at Wendy's to McDonald's. But we're talking for bang for your buck. All right, you got to go with McDonald's number 1, you go with Jack in the Box number 2, and then just to keep things exotic, Taco Bell is still hanging and banging there at number 3.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Except for I do have to say that Wendy's would take the top slot, and then McDonald's, then. And like,
you talking about the way the burgers taste?
No, just like 99 cents. You know, I like their chicken nuggets. Those aren't too bad. They're spicy chicken nuggets.
You're telling me that Wendy's has a serviceable 99-cent menu? I didn't think
it's
they
all
did.
right. Well, and they got like a baked potato.
What? I don't want a baked potato. I want a burger. I want a burger with cheese, or I want chicken with cheese. I want something that's going to clog my arteries. Baked potato. What am I, dieting? I'm in a fast food restaurant.
I know. And I always do feel weird if I get a baked potato at Wendy's. I just feel like just because everything at the fast food place like is supposed to be bad for you, I envision.
It is good though. The Wendy's sour cream and chive potatoes are good. I used to eat those.
Yeah, it's not too bad, but that's why I think I envision like scientists like prodding it with things to make it taste good, but like even making the baked potato horrible for you.
Injecting it with things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Red dye number 5 makes it taste delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I still like the Taco Bell too from time to time. You know, although Taco Bell has raised their prices. You used to be able to get like a bean burrito for 79 cents. Yeah. I think that went up a little.
Yeah, well, I think it's only like 89 cents now. It's not too bad.
All right.
It's nice. I mean, you can get a couple items and be under $2, so it's nice.
All right. What about Whataburger? They have a dollar menu. They have a value menu.
That's the one that doesn't have the value menu, but it does have the quality.
Do you think so?
Oh yeah, I love Whataburger.
Yeah.
If I'm really drunk and I don't care how much money I'm spending, that's
where you go for a burger.
Yeah.
I like Whataburger. Whataburger's good. I didn't grow up with Whataburger, so I've only had it for the last 10 years. But I still think a Wendy's double is like the best fast food hamburger out there. I love it. Yeah. Thick and juicy. Look, I know it's not juicy. I know it's grease, but that's okay. It still tastes good. It's wet. It's a wet, juicy burger, grease or not. I do. I love the Wendy's double.
I agree. I've always gone on the 99-cent menu on there, but just like a couple weeks ago, actually, I finally had a Wendy's double, and I was like, oh my God. Right? Yeah, that was not bad at all.
Not bad at all. If we had White Castle up here, they have the Supreme dollar menu.
Mm-hmm. You
can get like double cheeseburgers at White Castle for like, I think it's 89 cents.
Yeah.
Those are good. And, all right, can you tell we're hungry? Good thing we're at the Mad Tavern. They've got a full lunch menu available for you. Once again, the Mad Tavern located at Frankfort and Preston here in North Dallas. Full-on lunch menu they've got. We talked about some of the stuff they had yesterday. Let's see what the specials are. $5, you get fish and chips. Huh? That's not bad. $7.99, you get a big Cobb salad, big giant Cobb salad. $7.50 Tavern burger. $7.40 Pasta Diablo. I bet you that's spicy. I'm guessing the Diablo means spicy. What else they got? They got oh wow, $5.49 corned beef and cabbage today, and an $8 Reuben. Yeah, they got good food here. They got like a good array of food. We had those European nachos yesterday after the show. Now, remember, European nachos are distinguished by not being Mexican in the slightest. They were, instead of corn chips, they were potato chips.
Uh-huh.
And instead of shredded beef or whatever you'd put on your nachos, it was corned beef. But I thought they were delicious.
Oh, the potato chips were amazing. I mean, I forgot that that's what potato chips were.
Yeah. Just thinly sliced and fried potatoes.
It's amazing.
Yeah, delicious. All right, let's get into a couple of things here on The Bar Alive, Wednesday's edition of the PMS show. Jimmy Ryan here with me. The big story locally here, you're not familiar with this story, are you?
No, you just told me a little bit about it.
All right, this is crazy. This is crazy and creepy, and probably shouldn't start the show off with something so dark, but it is a big local story that's got a lot of people's heads turning. It concerns someone they're deeming a socialite, although I've had cause to run in a few socialite circles, and I've never heard of this woman before.
Okay.
I mean, I got friends who are, the Preston Hollow crowd and, all that stuff. I don't hang out with them all that much anymore, but those people, the ones that go to the charity balls and that put on the balls and all that stuff.
Right.
I don't know. And also, at the park that I take my kid to is a very Tony Highland Park, area park. And I commiserate with some of the ladies there, some of the moms, mostly the nannies and babysitters, but, they're all in the know. And I've never heard this woman's name. All the ladies all sit and they gather and they gossip and they talk about, the Trammels and, all these kinds of people.
Do you often huddle up with them at the dog park?
I sit there. It's not the dog park. It's a kid park. It's not a dog.
Okay.
It's a kid.
It's in the dog park.
Yeah, we sit on the picnic tables, and the kids all play together, and we sit and we talk. And I think of ways to steal the rings and jewelry on the women that I'm talking to. They wear the most gaudy jewelry. I mean, this one lady, Elizabeth, I don't know if she's listening, but she does sometimes. Elizabeth has a ring on her finger that she calls her 401k because it's like, if anything, if her entire family, if everything went to pot, she would just take that ring and go to South America. The ring's got to be worth $250,000. It is massive.
And she wears this every day?
Nah. In fact, that's the other ladies make fun of her because she doesn't wear it. They're all like, "Yeah, I would wear that all the time." I've only seen it once, but yeah, it's like a Super Bowl ring of wedding bands.
Yeah, and you get a house, a very, very nice house on your finger.
So this concerns one Erica Purdue, who I hate when this happens because whenever somebody gets in the news, I always immediately go and look them up on Facebook and try and friend them. Right? It's Erica Purdue had already taken down her Facebook page, which is at the center of a lot of the controversy surrounding this lady. Here's the headline: Erica Purdue, Dallas socialite, arrested on child pornography charges. Now, it's strange on a number of levels. One, it's child pornography, so that's just the creepiest of the creepy.
Right.
Two, she's a socialite, a well-heeled, high-profile, apparently, I don't know her, high-profile member of the Dallas social circle. And two, she's a woman. Women aren't supposed. This is like a black guy becoming a serial killer. It doesn't happen.
I mean, I immediately wanted to know what kind of child pornography she was into.
Yeah, you know what? It's the worst kind. It is the worst.
Is it really? Is that already out there?
Yes, it is the worst kind. It is. Imagine the worst scenario of toddlers, and that's This isn't even like.
Wow.
This isn't even like. And I went on Google Maps and I found her house, and I was looking at her house. It's right across the street from a park. Right across the street from a big, beautiful park there.
That's.
You know where? On Northwest Highway, if you're heading down the tollway. You're heading down the tollway at Northwest Highway, and there's like that big Hilton on the left, and then there's like a string of stores and everything. She lives right back there, right behind those.
Now, what does this girl look like? Is she attractive?
Villanova. She's 41 years old, and she looks like she's trying to hang on to any level of attractiveness that she once had.
So she's one of those.
Yeah, she's one of those, all these really sexy boudoir pictures on her Facebook page, because the news, they printed a bunch of screen captures from her Facebook page and all that stuff. All right, here's the story. Let me give it to you. CBS, Dateline, Dallas, Texas. Authorities in Texas say wealthy Dallas socialite Erica Purdue has been arrested on child pornography charges after agents who raided her mansion in April found graphic photos and videos on her computer. According to WFAA, the images showed children as young as toddlers having intercourse with adults.
Wow.
All right. I have a toddler, and because I have a toddler, I spend a lot of time with other toddlers. He plays with a bunch of, we were talking about at the park. He's running around playing with other kids. Mm-hmm. This would be, to my way of thinking, this is like getting off on turtle porn. I mean, there's nothing sexual about a child. So anyone that garners some kind of sexual arousal out of the very idea of that, they're broken. They are broken people. There is something wrong with them. And it doesn't mean I don't think they should go to jail. They definitely need to be kept away because they're broken and we don't know how to fix that. So we need to just warehouse these people somewhere.
We aren't quite there yet.
Exactly. Maybe we'll get to a point where we can fix all of these things. But I believe that this is an absolute. This is a wiring issue. When you buy the new house and you start to have some things go on the fritz, the last thing you want to hear from the electrical contractor is that it's a wiring issue. Well, that's what this is. This is a wiring issue. This woman needs a complete teardown. We need to go inside the walls and figure out exactly what the hell is going on that makes her attracted to the very idea of children in that sort of situation. So let's continue on here. Mm-hmm. According to WFAA, the images showed children as young as toddlers having intercourse with adults. KDFW reports that undercover agents tracked down the 41-year-old Purdue in January after they were able to go to an illegal child pornography website and downloaded hundreds of graphic pictures and videos from Purdue. All right, you know what her name was? You know she went by online?
What's that?
Classy Bitch. Classy Bitch was her online name. Now, if you have to put bitch at the end of it, you aren't classy, right?
Right.
I mean, doesn't the bitch kind of negate the classy?
Yeah, it's like these younger girls. I mean, I guess classy bitch is like the older version of hot mess.
I guess.
When you're young.
Classy bitch. Court documents reveal that Purdue allegedly told the FBI that she'd been distributing child porn since 1999.
Jeez. So she's been distributing.
Oh, yeah. She gets it. She basically, here's what the story says. Her husband is some highfalutin Dallas attorney, an intellectual property attorney, which is interesting. I don't know him either. But I've met with some intellectual property attorneys when we had a situation with CBS, and he wasn't the guy I met with. But apparently her husband had no idea this was going on, and that she did this all day, every day, from her home computer while he was at work.
So this has been like a known thing.
Oh, she's a big player, apparently. She claims that she has so much child pornography that she has completely lost track of where it all is.
Wow. I mean, that really is a fundamental wiring problem. I mean, like, every single time that I hear that somebody has been found to have child pornography, I always hesitate just a little bit, because that's just too easy of a plant to put on somebody. You know what I mean?
Is it?
Yeah, it's way
God, don't
too
tell
easy.
me that, because that's a horrifying scenario.
Well, yeah, it is. It's an absolutely horrifying scenario, but that's exactly why you would use it. Like, if you wanted to get rid of somebody, if you had that kind of power, you could do it that way, and it would be very easy to do. You'd make them look horrible, their reputation would be gone, and it would be really hard for them to come back. You know?
Because nobody's gonna remember how the court case ended up. They all remember the splashy headlines.
Right, and so like it's such an easy thing to do, but if you have been involved that long and like people are involved like that, jeez, man, it blows my mind.
A couple more fun facts about Erica Purdue. Authorities do not believe that any of the children depicted are local. So that's good. That's one thing. She lives across the street from the park. There was a lot of concern in the neighborhood. Right across the street from a park she lives. Like the creepiest scenario possible. And you know what I thought? I thought, wow. This has got to be incredibly confusing to our children, and even more so really to parents who are trying to protect our children. You know, when you live in a neighborhood like that, the neighborhood she lives in, I looked it up on Google Maps, I found the house, I saw exactly, the address, all that stuff. It's on Villanova, if you're familiar with that area of Dallas. When you have a kid and they're at a public park playing with other kids, you would like to think that in an emergency, you would feel safe with that kid running to a neighbor's house, someone who lives in your neighborhood. If something scary was going on at the park, you would want the children to feel comfortable running to a neighbor's house. Well, had they run right across the street to this neighbor's house, they'd have landed right in the lap of one of Dallas's biggest producers of child pornography, which is horrifying.
It really is. I mean, and especially being in such a convenient location like that.
Yeah.
Where you are, I mean, like, I would imagine you move to an area like that. Well, is that an area that you move? I mean, like, 'cause like a lot of strippers would live in that area, and then they would move to Frisco because their kids needed to go to like a good school system. Like, do you have to go to private school if you're in that area?
Most of the kids do go to private schools. Yeah, because there's a lot of private academies in that area.
Okay.
I don't know what the public schools are like, but
right.
She was also one of these chicks. She drove around in a screaming candy apple green Camaro. Like a brand new Camaro, like she got it last year. But she had super cool customized plates. You know what her plates were?
What's that?
My sin. Ooh, is that foretelling? Huh? My sin. MYSYN on her license plates of her candy apple green Chevy Camaro that she'd tool around town in. That woman had some secrets. And she was sort of, flying the flag that she had secrets.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. She's a creepo.
Unbelievable.
You want to get a look at her? Oh,
yeah, I am very interested to know what she looks like now.
All right, here's, she's doing the deceptive Facebook picture where you can't really see the whole thing. She's got her hair done. Here, let me see if I can find some other. You know what? I bet you if I pull up the story. Oh, here she is right there.
Okay, yeah, I saw it, though.
I don't know why that happened. I mean, she's, here's what she looks like. She looks like a 41-year-old woman who is crashing into middle age, trying desperately to stay looking like a 31-year-old woman. And she's also got the bonus of a disposable income. So she's obviously doing the big hair, the big extensions, the Botox, all of that stuff. I mean, she looks pretty much like your typical Dallas 41-year-old woman. A woman of means, I should say. Here, let's pull up the story so you get some. Okay, we got a commercial for the droid first, so we'll just wait on that.
I would have never, ever envisioned that this is the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. She's creepy. Her husband, again, a well-known, apparently, Dallas intellectual property attorney. He is nowhere associated with this. But here's the thing now. This happened back in April. They raided her house back in April, and she was only arrested and charged yesterday. So back in April, she's been living in this house, in this area. Let's see if we get some good pictures here. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right.
Sharing child pornography. Here's KXAS. A Park Cities woman is accused of distributing child pornography. Federal agents arrested Erica Purdue at University Park yesterday. The young female victims are not believed to be local. According to ABC, contact found on Purdue's computers show toddlers having sex with adults. WSNA reports two things surprise experts about this case: that Purdue is a woman and that she had so much to lose. In the virtual world, she swapped porn under the online moniker Classy B.
Yet court documents say in real life, Erica Purdue was a University Park housewife, living in a $1.4 million mansion, married to a successful lawyer.
I think it's very rare. KDFW reports Purdue has been placed in an addiction facility and has a trial date for September. It outlines some of the evidence authorities have against her.
These are pictures from the 41-year-old's Facebook page. The FBI said it found hundreds of videos and photos on her computers. Purdue admitted to the FBI she had been distributing child porn for more than a decade.
KXAS reports Purdue swapped porn while her husband was at work. For the Huffington Post, I'm Candace Aviles.
All right, well, there you have it. That's the full story. So she's apparently in an addiction therapy joint. I'm sure she's getting all fixed up. I mean,
This is.
she's a woman of means. It'll be interesting to see what exactly her penalty is. Because typically when it's a guy who gets busted for child porn, it's not a man of means. Typically, I imagine a loser type guy, a creepy guy. A guy 50-something years old, the Chester the molester, the local creepy dude, that guy. This is a woman whose husband is a high-powered attorney. I'm wondering, at what point, this has got to be grounds for divorce, right? You cannot... Right?
Yeah,
there's no coming back from this in a relationship.
No.
This has got to be... But do you stand by her? Do you defend her? Do you make sure that she gets the best possible representation? As the husband of means, who is himself a connected attorney, how does this work? And if it does work that way, if she does have access to all of these, things that the husband has, what will the penalty be for someone of privilege who is able to assemble a localized dream team of attorneys who can fight this and, circumvent the law in any way that they're able to? Won't it be interesting to see? Because a woman like this who's been dealing in child pornography for almost 10 years, who says she's got so much child pornography that she has lost complete track of it, this woman should go to jail for at least 30 years. Now, of course, we'd all probably like to see her go away forever, but that's not going to happen. She won't. She'll get 15 to 30 years or whatever. These things always happen this way. I would be interested to see if she actually does any hard jail time. I wonder if she's just going to be placed in some kind of... She's sick. She's going to get some insanity plea or something like that.
Right. I think that the husband will end up staying with her because I don't think that you can be in a relationship for this long and not know that your wife is absolutely crazy. That's why you're into her. If you're into her because she's into some weird stuff. Her
Facebook pictures are very sultry. They were described as provocative boudoir photos. So, yeah, he probably likes that she's a sex freak. And you know what? Guilt by association, just a little bit, in the court of public opinion? Hell yeah. This husband definitely has been sleeping with a woman who's been turned on by child pornography.
Yeah, and I also think that...
By the way, I should say they don't believe that she produced it. She dealt in the trade of it.
Yeah, I think that, and it shows a lot in history and currently. If you have a lot of money, if you become incredibly powerful, you try to do things that nobody else can do. You know what I mean? Like, which means that you will go into certain things that like this. I mean, like, how many times have you seen multimillionaires, especially in other countries,
Thinking they can get
go
away with it
down?
ultimately because
Yeah.
you know they'll have the means to defend themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is definitely one of those situations where she's looking at her husband saying, "Oh, I can get by with this. This is I got a unbelievably good husband who's a great attorney who has all the greatest defenders."
Yeah.
So she thinks that she's bulletproof. And
Except you really can't. I mean, if the FBI went into your house and took out computers and found all this stuff, what could your defense be? And she admitted too, by the way. She has admitted things to police. I mean, she is an admitted child pornographer. As the husband, I don't understand.
Without the admission, you could literally get away with it. I mean, it's so easy. It's so easy because you just have to say, "Where's the proof?" And every single time that they show you proof, say, "Well, that's not verifiable proof." And then you say, "Yeah, you're right. It's not."
You know what it's like? Here's an example. A pro athlete gets busted for a DUI. All right? Let's say a pro athlete gets a DUI. Say he gets a DUI on the same night that your friend, the cocktail waitress at the bar you hang out with, gets her DUI. That girl, the cocktail waitress, is going to be out thousands and thousands of dollars. Well, actually, the pro athlete probably will as well, but it's not going to mean as much to him.
Yeah.
She's going to probably lose her license. She's going to go through all kinds of hell. It's going to be the worst experience of her life, and she's probably going to get a conviction for driving while intoxicated. The pro athlete will more than likely cut some deal, and it will be, whittled down to, causing an obstruction in the roadway or something like that,
Right.
and it will never go on his record. I mean, that if you just look at the way DUI cases are prosecuted, and you can see the vast difference between the haves and the have-nots. The have-nots get raped on DUI charges, and the haves do not. The haves get away with it almost scot-free. Unless, of course, it's one of those special conditions where you're a celebrity and you get busted in Hollywood, where the Hollywood police now are, or the Los Angeles police now, prosecute celebrities to the full extent of the law, because for years they didn't. That's a little different. But, I mean, if you're a celebrity and you get busted for a DUI in, Boston, you're going to be fine. Your
Yeah.
lawyers are going to take care of it, and you're going to be fine. But the average person who makes the exact same mistake is not going to be fine. They're going to be inconvenienced to an unbelievable extent for years to come because of this.
I mean, it's the way that it basically works that way for everything, for just about any type of thing that you can get, from tickets to jail time. I mean, it almost definitely she won't.
You mean like good concert seats? You're right. The rich people always get the best concert seats, and poor people end up on the lawn.
Right. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I think that she'll end up getting away with a lot less than you would think. I don't think that she'll be in there for more than 5 years.
I agree with you. It's a fantastic story, and it's getting all kinds of headlines around the world and around the country. Certainly today, they were talking about it on CNN this morning. But ultimately, when all of this settles down, after continuance after continuance, after court case being delayed after court case, it'll probably be a year or so before this goes to court. And I guarantee you, the penalty for this Dallas socialite is not going to be anywhere near what we, the great unwashed, think she should get. We'll take a break. We'll come back, broadcasting live from the Mad Tavern. It's PMS, the Pugs Moran Show, for Wednesday afternoon on thebarlive.com. PMSTheBarLive.com, broadcasting live today, in edition of PMS, the Pugs Moran Show, from Frankfurt and Preston. We are at the Mad Tavern, a delicious new saloon here in far north Dallas. Just, it's Frankfurt and the Tollway. You know where that is. They've got an Alice in Wonderland theme out here at the Mad Tavern. Bar's really nice. It's really nice. It's done very, I'm a bar geek in that I love bar decorations. I love people. They got such a the actual physical bar itself is so beautiful in this place. It's the Mad Tavern, Frankfurt and Preston here in North Dallas.
It's funny, I didn't actually even walk in until after the show yesterday, and I was kind of taken aback by how nice everything is kind of taken care of. It's really nice.
Real pretty, well done bar. And the food was really good. We had some food yesterday. I believe that Rich said that we could order lunch today, so maybe we'll have to sample the lunch menu as well. That'll be nice. All right, Jimmy Ryan is with me. You were telling me a story about something you did. What did you do over the weekend? You went to some concert?
Yeah, it's a thing that's been basically kind of like an underground concert for as long as I can remember, where it would just basically be put out like in the middle of like a forest somewhere, and you'd go to it. And like they decided to basically, because a lot of people ended up getting sick, and I think a couple of people died a few years ago. They ended up moving it to a location. So they ended up moving it to just near Lone Star Park. There's that QT baseball park.
Sure.
So they decided that they were going to do it there. It was
it's over by the old Nokia or whichever that is now, right?
Yeah,
over in that,
Verizon now. Yeah,
it's over in that complex there. It's got a minor league baseball stadium and a music venue. It wasn't at the music venue though, right?
No, it was it was at that baseball park.
Okay.
So
Quick Trip Field.
Yeah, which was really weird. I didn't know that they actually did concerts or anything like that, but it ended up working out all right for everybody who was there. Apparently, people were really upset, though, because these concerts usually go until like 4 or 5 in the morning. This one went until 3. And
what happened? Why'd you guys give up so early? Getting old?
Yeah, no, they ended up basically only getting clearance to go until 3.
Had to wake up and do a bikini bar wash car wash at the back 9 or something?
Well, priorities. No, they wanted to go much later. The DJ that was playing last actually was threatening to go until 4 a.m., but he ended up having his lights shut out. And then
didn't pay the bill?
No, it was because Grand Prairie was they ended up getting so many complaints from all of Grand Prairie, apparently hundreds of phone calls. Then there was a couple people on the news that were pretty funny about it. But it just basically turned into a whole mess. When we were leaving the event, there were police lining the entire way back to the cars, and they were furious with everybody that was at the concert.
How many people showed up? Give me a number.
I would say just under 10,000.
10,000 people.
Yeah, it was.
So this
pretty
is
amazing.
a big event.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was.
Who's playing? Who's playing that draws 10,000? A bunch of DJs?
Yeah, it was some of like the really biggest DJs. Like basically, you got like dubstep and that kind of stuff. It's like really bassy, so there was something called the bass stage, and then there was more of like a melody kind of electronic that was on another stage. Well, the bass stage...
I remember when music used to combine all those things into one song.
Yeah.
I don't know if I cotton to this, separating the channels.
But the bass apparently was incredibly loud, and people were talking about the fact that their houses were being shaken. Up to a mile and a half away from the location.
They don't make a solid home out there in Grand Prairie.
Yeah.
They're pretty, a lot of aluminum siding.
You're right.
I
blame the people that made the houses.
I blame the people who bought the houses.
Yeah.
You live in Grand Prairie. What did you expect? we got a base stage half a mile away. Of course your windows are going to rattle.
Well, yeah, and you have a few venues there. It got all the proper, paperwork to say that they were going to be out there, but apparently it's turned into a whole thing, and the city of Grand Prairie has made them swear that they aren't going to do events that late ever again, especially these types of events. And the news didn't help either, because they just kept on talking about how awful these things are, which obviously it's a concert.
It's old people wanting to put young people in their place. That's what it is. You go back 20 years and it was old people talking about, the people who are old now and what they were doing.
Right. I guess I kind of get it, but it's also the same reason why I think that I said it before on the show. That generation sold out. Sold out. They should be the first ones to be like, you know what? They're kids. They're doing. It's like yesterday.
Jimmy, I'm going to hip you to something. Every generation sells out.
Yeah.
Once the babies start coming and the mortgage gets due, everybody sells
sure.
out.
Yeah, well,
It's called growing up. It's called maturing and accepting that this is the life we live in and we have to participate.
No. You can individually grow up and not judge everybody who's not grown up yet. You see what I mean? You can have an open mind to other
Sure.
people who are in other stages of
Yeah, you can be cool about
the
it.
thing.
Like,
Yeah, you don't have to be a dick. You don't have to go around judging everybody around you. That turns you into the dick. Yeah, that's not you maturing. That's you being a dick. That's you taking anger in the fact that you're getting older. And I can do the same thing.
We
you
used,
know?
to, we used to go to these field concerts. They'd build a stage in a field somewhere, and all of these, like, this is late 80s, early 90s, and you'd bring out all of these metal bands, from like back in the day, and the metal bands were a scary group. The tattoos, when nobody had tattoos. Tattoos didn't really didn't cross over into mainstream population until probably the mid-90s, maybe the early 90s. But at the time, you had a full sleeve of tattoos, and you were considered, an outcast of society. And we used to, thousands of people would show up for these things, and it was the same thing. It was, all these damn kids with their grunge metal music,
Right.
Every generation has it. My grandparents, not your grandparents, but my grandparents probably complained, and they did. I mean, we've seen the footage of people destroying Beatle records because the Beatles were wearing suits. How subversive were they? So it's every generation that goes through this.
Damn jazz players.
Jazz players, man, they were all up on the hooch. They were all the boogie woogie music and smoking the weed and all of that stuff.
And see, because we can always point back to all these different times in history where, someone needed to turn that corner and not point back at the people that were growing up, you would think that we would have figured that out by now. But I am losing more and more respect, and I will lose respect for my generation if they aren't able to do it.
Well, your generation won't do it. Your generation will be no different than any of the other generations. But you want to know what it is? And this is why it won't change? Because it's not a legitimate complaint. The older folks who criticize what the younger kids are doing, they're not being legitimate in their critiques. If they were, they'd look back at what they did and they'd recognize that it's almost the exact same thing, just different artists and maybe a different sound coming out. The problem is, this is people getting older and being uncomfortable with getting older. That's the root of this. It's not really a judgment on the younger generation. It's a jealousy. It's a jealousy that the younger generation can go out and party in a field until 3 a.m. while they got to wake up and, mow the lawn and do all that kind of stuff. It's really just people getting older and being bitter about the fact that their best days are behind them. That's why it happens.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it'll happen to your generation, too.
I guess I'm just more or less optimistic because I think that, with the internet and people that have grown up with the internet, like, you just get more of a well-rounded idea of things as you're growing up. You know what I mean? And like that wasn't available before, so
but we were the cable TV generation, so
which was useless.
No, it wasn't. We had access to
useless.
more media than any generation had ever been exposed to in the past. We had 24-hour news.
Yeah.
We had networks that were designed for us, and MTV and stuff like that. People said that would be something that would impact our generation. Now, one or two generations later, the internet came on, and suddenly, having cable TV didn't seem like all that big of a deal. But if you went from 3 channels in 1979 to 103 in 1980, it was a big difference in the lives of people.
It was a big difference, but it wasn't a changing. It wasn't like people communicating that normally wouldn't communicate. It wasn't. I mean, like, that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. With the internet, you got a full perspective on different things that were going on. Like, even if it wasn't, based on different times, it was also different places, people coming from. I've talked to people in China that I thought that I would have nothing in common with.
How do you
Turns
talk
out
to
that
someone
they're
in China?
Well, it turned out on Google Plus. It was pretty cool. Like, they were able to actually go around.
Translate?
Well, no, we did hangouts, and he spoke English, so he would walk around like the streets of China because they have municipal Wi-Fi, and he would walk around and like introduce us to people on like this hangout. And like we got to know the guy over like a few weeks, and he was like amazing. You know what I mean? But like that just wasn't possible, and it certainly wasn't possible because of MTV.
We had pen pals.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying? I'm hoping anyway. I guess it's just optimism. Is that perspective is the thing that might change that. Sure, you're always going to be bitter because you're getting a little bit older, but you might be a little bit more well-rounded to understand that you don't need to do that, and that it's just a waste of energy.
It has nothing to do with your frame of mind. It has to do with your age. That's all. You get jealous. You can't do things you used to do. You have responsibilities. You're not as free, and you see a bunch of kids in a field at 3 in the morning, and you think, now they got freedom. Now that is freedom, and damn it, if I can't have my freedom anymore, I'm disturbed than anyone else should be enjoying it. And that's really, it's all on. What I'm saying, what I'm advising you about your generation is that there is nothing you're going to be able to do to stop it. I mean, you know, intellectually, you know this. Intellectually, you know that every generation for the last 1,000 years has been maligned by the one that came before them. The older folks have, oh, you damn kids. I mean, how long have people been saying that? I say that from time to time now.
Oh, I know that they'll always exist. I just hope that the ratio of that is lessening.
So what do you want? You want to be out in a field at 53 years old at 3 in the morning?
Oh no!
Is that what you want?
I would like to be sitting with the adults over on the other side, the other tent. You know, where we're just taking it easy.
Yeah, you'll be taking it easy.
Yeah.
Just not complaining is what you want.
Right.
That's okay. So you're not saying that you want to be stunted in your maturity. You just want to be a little bit more.
I want to hang out with friends who aren't judging everybody else, and I can go hang out with my friends still. See what I mean?
Well, you better get out of here, because that's all I do is judge people. That's pretty much my bread and butter.
Like, I'd like to go over to my friend's house and have a beer, and the story of the day not be those damn kids every single time.
But sometimes those damn kid stories are good.
Okay, fair enough. If they're really good, I'd like to hear them. Yeah.
All right. Well, that sounds like fun. So the story actually made news, you said, today. Made the front page of Yahoo because people were complaining?
Well, it got, WFAA ran something. I think Fox ran it locally. They had some really funny people that were talking about it. At one point, it's electronic music. Some old guy out in front of his house, like, cutting down his tree, saying, "At one point, I heard a drum solo." Okay, fair enough. So they found the very weirdest people, and then finally today I ended up going to Yahoo and ran across the story of it. So it got national attention. So good for Meltdown.
All right. Here, a couple of things that I want to talk about here quickly is there's an update here on the Miami cannibal. Remember this dude?
Yeah.
Rudy Eugene, I believe was his name. He basically tripped out on something. This is not good, by the way, the story that we're about to go into. Do you know what they're saying? You know, you said you heard about the bath salts. And I after you told me that, I then, saw some stories where bath salts were mentioned as possibly the reason for Rudy Eugene stripping naked, attacking a homeless man, and eating his face in broad daylight in front of countless numbers of onlookers. Well, they're kind of backing off the whole bath salts thing. I'm not seeing that being reported now as the dust settles on the story. But what is being reported is, and here you got two things. This is sort of like the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. You know what was found? You know what he had with him?
What's that?
He had a Bible, Rudy Eugene, the zombie face eater. And it says that he had recently smoked pot. Pot! So it was pot that made him eat the face of a homeless man. You see, Jimmy, I told you. It's that, boy, all these people saying that it's harmless. You smoke pot and you're going to want to eat the face of a homeless person.
They would do this. When I heard the bath salts...
Why can't we say it's the Bible? Why can't we say that it was the Bible that drove him to do this?
Because they're both just as likely to have been the cause.
Actually, no. One is more likely to have you kill someone, and that's the Bible. The Bible is far more... If you are under the influence of the Bible, you are far more likely to commit a violent crime than if you're under the influence of marijuana. I would stake the life of myself and my child on this. It's an absolute.
Yeah, it is true. I just don't know that they would have the creativity to start eating somebody's face.
If someone was really violent, I know, right? Yeah, the creative aspect, that might have a little something to do with the weed. It does make you more creative. But if somebody was violent and freaking out and going, man, I'm telling you, I'm about to strip down naked and eat somebody's face. If somebody said that, I'd say, dude, here, take a puff of this. Just take a puff, calm down, take the edge off.
Matter of fact, that's probably why you had the weed. Somebody was like, dude, that guy is raging. Give him some weed.
You gotta bring him down. Dateline Miami, police now believe that Rudy Eugene, the so-called Miami zombie, was not only naked, but was also carrying his Bible when he nearly beat a homeless man to death and chewed off 3/4 of his face. A senior law enforcement official told CBS 4's Jim DeFeed Eugene's Bible was found with some of its pages ripped out at the scene of the May 26th cannibal attack that has captured worldwide attention. The torn Bible pages were found not far from the victim's body. In interviews last week, Eugene's mother described her son as a church boy who always carried his Bible with him.
Oof.
That's weird.
That is. I mean, I understand, if you take to religion, I totally understand that. But
Sure,
that
finding your
is-
faith, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
If you're comfortable with your faith, God bless you. I hope to someday have the same sort of peace and inner peace. But,
Yeah.
right now I don't, so I'm not subscribing to your method.
Sure, yeah, but you do decide that you're not going to be the person is quickly socially accepted if you're going to be the guy walking around with a Bible every day.
You're not going to be with the cool people.
Right.
I'll put it that way.
And you certainly shouldn't do it naked.
Define cool any way you want, but, if you're sitting around with some people just chilling, having a nice time in a tavern, and you whip out the Bible, nobody's going to want to hang out with you.
Right.
It's
They're
just
gonna be,
weird.
Can we just have our beers, maybe watch the game,
Please.
put it down?
And honestly, I've known a few people who rely on the Bible. And for instance, when I was a kid, I was like 15, 16 years old, I worked at McDonald's. And there was a dude that worked at the McDonald's with me. And when he would go on his break, he would just sit in the dining room and read the Bible. Every day. Just read the Bible. First of all, it'd be like popping in the same DVD every day, watching the same damn DVD. I don't understand that. But it was about that time in my life that I started to recognize that the people who have the most affinity for the Bible, that whole thing,
Right.
those people, they're the broken ones. It's always the people who have severely screwed up their life to some ridiculous extent that now the only thing that they have is the Bible. The guy in question I was telling you about, the McDonald's guy, he had been in jail. He was like a burglar. He robbed houses. He was a drug addict, and he went to jail. And now he's like 50 years old, and he's working at McDonald's, and he's reading the Bible. That is not a good ambassador for the Bible.
No. But unfortunately, that is the thing, because socially we don't have too many good social programs for people that are getting off of drugs, except for ones that are based on religion. You got the 12-step program. You got all these different rehabs that are rehabilitating people, bringing them back through Christianity. See what I mean? So it does turn into a thing. I'm not sure why they decided to go this route, because it does. It turns the guy who looks like a crackhead at McDonald's into the only guy you've seen walking around with his Bible
With
today.
the Bible, yeah.
Yes, but
it's
what they've decided.
There's nothing wrong with being religious. You can have that. As I always say, you found your faith, good for you. I'm happy for you. But man, when you flaunt it, when you feel the need to flaunt it, is when you start to cross a line. Because the Bible is such a personal thing. If you are to become one of these people who leads your lives according to the Scripture, then that's a real personal commitment that you've made. And it's highly inappropriate to just, don't they call it testifying to people or something like that? See, that's where you cross the line. Because I do feel it's a very personal decision. It's an important thing to people. So don't come up to me, a complete stranger, and start, preaching to me about how I need that. It's not appropriate. It's not decent in civilized society to do such a thing.
Well, many times somebody will come up to me and they'll hint me in to a movie that I've missed out on. Oh, you definitely got to watch that. I'm aware of Jesus. You don't need to tell me about it. I've heard of this. I've heard the story. I'm still processing it. I'm not bothered by this. I don't need you to come up with this and start bringing up religion. I'm just trying to have a beer.
And again, I'll say it again. The people who tend to carry a Bible with them wherever they go are the broken members of society. They have almost completely done something in their life that has driven them to rock bottom, where they found a Bible, and now that's their only salvation. Whereas the rest of us who are having, our own personal difficulties in life, we haven't reached that point yet, where all faith in everything is gone, and we're just now going to drop to our knees and pray to the guy with the beard on the throne floating in the clouds.
No.
That is not appropriate to do.
No, we've done everything on a mediocre level. We haven't screwed up badly. We haven't haven't taken the faith hardly.
Do you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy about this story? Now that I'm sort of putting it into focus here. The thing that we seem to be most troubled by is that the zombie face eater had a Bible. That seems to be the most troubling aspect of this. We haven't even talked about the fact that he dragged a homeless man out from under a tree, mounted him, stripped him, and then ate his face. That's almost too much for us to handle. So we're focusing on the Bible part of this right now.
Well, it's hard to process the other part, so you have
Yeah,
to.
it is. Yeah, I have very limited interaction with human zombies eating the faces of people, but I have plenty of interaction with those trying to force the Bible on me.
Yeah, I can't tell you that there's ever been a time that somebody went to eat my face, and I was like, oh, he did it in a nice way, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
right?
like, he attempted, but
Sure.
can't blame him.
I've been with some girls who were really bad kissers, but I never thought she was going to eat my face. As CBS 4 News was the first to report, Eugene had driven to South Beach during the early morning hours of May 26th for Urban Beach Weekend. See, it's the Bible and the blacks. That's what this is all about. Them damn Urban Beach weekends. They bring their Bibles and then they eat people's faces.
That's the new conspiracy. We can put that as a sign for next year.
I would like to be at one of these city council meetings because these Urban Beach weekends always meet with resistance from the community. I want to see the guy that actually uses this as an example of why Urban Beach weekend should not be held.
It's guaranteed to happen. You know it is.
They ate a face last year.
Yeah.
We let all these people come to the beach and then they eat a face. It's zombies. We might as well just call it Zombie Weekend.
You know what's funny is that he actually kind of has a point. Is that if you go to a concert and a lot of people are taking drugs, that's not so bad, and there's a lot of people doing it, so it does turn into a bit of an issue. But if one person eats a face at a concert, that's the end. That's the end of that concert.
Slipknot will never play this town again. As CBS 4 News was first to report, Eugene had driven south the beach during the morning hours of May 26th for Urban Beach Weekend. Eugene parked his car near 10th and Alton Road, and after apparently not being able to get the car to start again, okay, I've had car problems. That could cause you to eat a face.
Very angry.
Very angry. After apparently not being able to get the car to start again, decided to walk the 3.5 miles over to the MacArthur Causeway to downtown Miami. Along the way, he stripped. All right, so he couldn't get the car to start again. All right, so the guy's out of his mind, obviously, on something. He's walking down the street, decides to strip, and then he eventually goes on to eat a dude's face. How is it that I can be at a bar on a Friday night 3 blocks from my home, have a couple of beers, and then be looking over my shoulder for a cop every step of the way? This guy is on the verge of eating a dude's face. He's so whacked out, and he's driving around just fine. He didn't get pulled over. He just, his car breaks down, and he just gets out.
I'm always really jealous of people that have no fear.
Maybe that's the
guy
thing.
has no worries.
Maybe I'm too cautious.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just not worry. Maybe I should have that extra shot and just see if I can get the car up to 100 in 3 blocks to my house.
I think we can learn something from the zombie face eater.
Oh, yes. He was, say what you will, he was brave. The zombie face eater was brave. Along the way, he stripped his clothes, tossing them on the road before ultimately encountering a 65-year-old victim, Ronald Popo, who lived around and under the causeway. According to the law enforcement source, surveillance video from business near 10th and Alton revealed that Eugene spent between 30 and 40 minutes around his purple Chevy festooned with Haitian flags. Haitian. All right, now this is a new angle.
Yeah.
Dude, Haitians are huge on zombies. Did you
Are
know
they?
that?
No.
Oh, yeah. You ever seen the movie The Serpent and the Rainbow?
No.
Whoa. Haiti. Come on,
I had no idea.
Haiti's all about the voodoo, and they'll turn you into the Walking Dead and all that. Yeah, I didn't know this.
Wow.
Okay, this is all interesting new stuff. Detectives canvassed the area to see if Eugene had gone to the part of Miami Beach to visit someone, but they were unable to find anyone in the area who knew Eugene or even recalled seeing him that morning. Inside the car, investigators found a Quran. Arab stuff. A Quran. He's got a Quran too. A Quran, Bible, Haitian flags.
What is
Face
this guy
eating?
into?
Yeah, what is this guy into? What is going on here?
What are you doing? Okay, all of this taken into account, why did you go out to party? Why are you out partying?
Well, I like the idea. I like the idea that he balances his stuff. He's got the religion thing down, although he may not be solely committed to.
Right.
He's going between the dark arts, zombieism, the Quran, and the Bible.
All right.
It's interesting that someone that would have the Christian Bible would also have the Quran. It's interesting to me. I may just be not informed, but are serious Bible people can they sort of vacillate between the two?
Not really. I mean, like the Quran, like really does.
It's the same story, though. It's like the same thing.
Same story, but the Bible in many cases also punishes naysayers. So.
By the way, explain that to a Christian, a hardcore Christian, about how their story is the exact same story that's in the Quran. It's like almost the same everything, just different names.
Good story.
Good story, yeah. It's a ripoff.
Like, if you get mad when somebody recreates a movie in your lifetime, get really angry about that story because it really has been overplayed so many different times.
Although, what dates back further, the Quran or the Bible?
I believe the Quran. Yeah.
The Bible's a ripoff.
Yeah.
Sorry, Christians. The Bible's a ripoff.
I'm not totally sure about that though. I may be totally bull.
I don't either. The information that I'm quelling this from comes from Religulous, the Bill Maher movie, where he did this big section about the similarities between, the Quran and the Christian Bible, and same story. Basically all the same stories, just different names. Let's see here. Inside the car, investigators found a Quran and 5 empty bottles of water. The water appeared to have been recently purchased. The water and the notion that Eugene was extremely thirsty offers investigators another clue into the possible drugs Eugene may have been taking. For instance, people who take ecstasy often crave water. Yes, but they don't eat people's faces. Ecstasy does not make you eat someone's face.
No, I'm just going to come right out of the box here. I was on ecstasy on Saturday. The only thing I wanted to do was kiss everybody's face. Like, that's the only thing I wanted to do. Like, if he was very confused, and went to eating, that was a whole different drug.
Well, all right. So in this story here, the headline was that they found, or that he had recently smoked weed, but then in the actual body of the story, it doesn't go into any details about that. So there you have it. More we're learning about Rudy Eugene, the Miami Beach zombie. He loved his Jesus. He loved his Quran. He loved his stripping, walking naked. Loved his Haitian stuff. He had a bunch of Haitian accoutrements in the car. And he loved eating faces of homeless people.
And he had that can-do attitude that we can all learn.
Can we say again, what do we think he was on? I mean, obviously, he was probably on something. It wasn't ecstasy, and it wasn't weed.
I think it had to have. I still think it was either bath salts
Coke is
or
a
PCP.
party drug. This isn't a Coke thing either.
No.
Coke is a party drug where someone will just, do a bunch of it and then try and talk to you about how they're going to make you millions.
No, that homeless man did not have cocaine, which is why that guy would have gone nowhere near him.
So you're still sticking with the bath salts?
Either bath salts or PCP.
PCP, yeah, the old school PCP that we used to see the films about in grade school.
Well, and the reason why I would say that it's one of these two is,
Is that angel dust?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you go to like a party, you get these little capsules, and like they'll put it in there, and PCP is much cheaper. So
PCP is still around?
Oh yeah.
I have never seen it.
Yeah. I've
never been exposed to it. I've been exposed to weed, pills, and cocaine. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean it's not going to be around here, but in an area like Miami or South Beach and areas like that, you're going to run into some bunk stuff,
Bunk?
So,
what is that? What is that?
Stuff that you wanted to go around and float around on Molly and kiss people all night, but you ended up swallowing a pill of PCP.
Now you've climbed atop the flagpole,
right?
And the police are trying to get you down.
Yeah.
All right, very good. That's the assorted tale of one Rudy Eugene developing. ... We'll take a break. We're broadcasting live today from the Mad Tavern, corner of Frankfurt and Preston Road. It's PMS, the Pugs Moran Show on thebarlive.com. It's thebarlive.com PMS Pugs Moran show for a Wednesday afternoon, broadcasting live again. One of our fine new sponsors, the Mad Tavern out here at Frankfurt and Preston. Mad Tavern, where you can find all of your Alice in Wonderland needs fulfilled. They've got an Alice in Wonderland theme in here. Brandon, was Brandon the one yesterday that said that he walked in and he just thought it was all cool, and then it dawned on him that it was Alice in Wonderland? It's pretty in your face that it's Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
Pretty
I actually
cool.
picked up on it, and I probably wouldn't have normally done that. So
It's pretty cool. It's a really neat design that they've got in here. Again, the Mad Tavern is located right here at Frankfurt and Preston. They've got a full lunch menu, sort of an upscale menu, I would say. Well, I don't have to say that. They describe it as such. It's an upscale bar dining experience with, you get good beefs, they got veals, they got all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah. We
We had some really great stuff yesterday, kind enough to allow us to sample the European nachos, which definitely a twist on nachos, if you're used to nachos. I mean, how do you even call them nachos? They were potato chips instead of corn chips. The beef was corned beef instead of shredded beef. The cheeses were delicious. Whatever the cheeses were that were on there, they were just delicious. That was a really nice sort of change up to the typical bar nachos that you would have. The European nachos out here at the Mad Tavern come highly recommended. Oh, also, what were those little lamb burgers that we had? They were good too.
I'm not sure what they would actually be called, but yeah, there was basically
I think they'd be called lamb burgers.
tavern burgers. Is that what they are?
Yeah, Bruce sliders, like
Okay.
lamb sliders. They're
Yeah.
really good. All right, here we are once again, broadcasting live, as we say, from the Mad Tavern. It's PMS, the Pugs Moran Show. Check us out on thebarlive.com. Jimmy Ryan is with me as well. All right, Jimmy, here's a story we touched on yesterday. Again, another weed-centric story, only because I think that it's important that we talk about how more and more mainstream, otherwise upstanding members of society have started sort of bent in their opposition to the evil weed. Boy, just 10 years ago. Do you remember Bill Clinton in 1992? And this isn't just 10 years ago. It was quite a bit longer, 20 years at this point. But when Bill Clinton was running for president, it was a landmark in political campaigning when he admitted that he had actually put marijuana to his lips.
Right.
Of course, he didn't inhale. That's what he said. I didn't inhale, which, now I give him a bravo for being ballsy enough to at least float the balloon that, yes, part of my generation, I was around it.
Especially with those pictures of him and Hillary in college.
Looking like him, especially. That's a funny dynamic in college. He looks like the dude doing keg stands
Right.
in college, and she looks like the nerdy wallflower girl.
Yeah, she does. She looks like a kind of a hippie nerd, though. You know,
Well, she was.
She's kind of hot.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so too. I think that those early 1970s college pictures of Hillary Clinton wearing the glasses and the straight hair, I think she's
Yeah.
pretty cute.
I'm pretty sure I would have tried dating her.
Yeah?
Yeah.
She would have had nothing to do with you.
I know.
You know how uptight you... Although you never know, because she married Bill. And Bill seems like, it's the opposites attract thing.
Yeah.
He was the social guy planning the parties and, all that stuff, and she was the one who just attended. Mm-hmm. She was the one who walked around with the garbage bag, cleaning up after people, harshing everybody's party buzz.
There's other relationships that seem to last.
Yeah. Well, now here we are 20 years later, and I think that Bill Clinton... I would love Bill Clinton to be asked that question again. I would love to say, look, Bill, you're not running for anything. We got you here. You really didn't inhale. Because, see, here's the thing. That makes me lose a whole lot of respect for you because you didn't even know how to do it.
Yeah.
You didn't inhale? Really? Are you kidding me?
And it also makes me wonder, what your friends thought of you. Because, anybody who obviously doesn't know how to smoke, they're immediately told, no, bro, you're doing it all wrong here.
Hold it in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
until
wasting
you
the
start
weed.
coughing,
Yeah.
Junior. All right. Well, anyway, the attitudes towards marijuana are changing, not necessarily because more and more people are doing it. I mean, I think the same amount of people have done it, have always done it. But what's happening here is that these drug laws, it's safe to say now, 30 some odd years after the Reagan administration declared their war on drugs and Nancy started her big Just Say No campaign where she foolishly lumped all drugs together into one category, leaving out, of course, the taxed liquor companies and the pharmaceutical companies.
and also designed the most popular T-shirt I saw on Saturday.
Just say no?
Yeah, the Dare shirts.
I see those all the time. They're being worn ironically because it was such a cheesy notion.
I wish I still had my original one. Because they're awesome.
I used to have
now.
a Dare shirt.
Yeah.
Dare program. We all got them.
Yeah.
You know, I got it for some class. We took some class. If you completed the class, you got your Dare shirt.
Yeah. Remember seeing all the Dare cop cars going around?
Yeah.
The most pointless cars on the road.
Well, look, the war on drugs has been a massive, massive failure. First of all, any right-thinking individual has a problem just with the words themselves. A war on drugs. It's like a war on terrorism. We don't declare war on inanimate things. We don't declare war. We declare war on individuals and nations. We
Right.
declare war on people who there is something we can do at the end of it where we can say we won or we lost. That's what a war on drugs is not anything that we can ever win. Until
Just
we,
hot air.
what are we gonna do? Just scorch the earth so the drugs never grow again? I mean, they're gonna grow. God makes them grow if you believe in God.
Yeah, the irony of them actually signing on for the bill while they're probably waiting for a joint or needing some coke. I would imagine that most of the people in Congress have probably partaken.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm going to tell you something. People in Congress are politicians.
Yeah.
They didn't just start being politicians. They were politicians when they were in high school at the high school party. And the politicians are popular. And you don't get to be popular by being some weird guy that, somehow judges people who are just being teenagers, who just do what teenagers do. They were there. They were in the circle. They were the guys that threw the parties. That's what politicians are. They're popular people. We put them on this pedestal like they're somehow better than us. No, they've had the same experiences. They've lived the same lives we have. They just had an ulterior motive the whole time, and that was to be popular.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would imagine that many of them still do. Like if they're, especially if they're young in their career, why not,
So back to this horrifying war on drugs, this massive failure. Trillions of dollars have been spent. A countless number of lives have been lost. And that's not just the loss of lives, in the border wars and, in the smuggling wars and the DEA and all that. I'm talking about the lives that have been lost by people who were thrown away in jail for how many... maybe they went to jail for a year or something because they got caught with possession. Well, you know what? That person's life is ruined.
Right.
It is so difficult to come back in this society. I mean, right now there are no jobs. Imagine not having a high school diploma and being an ex-con.
Right.
And now you're looking for a job in an economy that is not supporting people looking for jobs. It's just not happening. I mean,
Yeah.
It's like the worst. The lives have been ruined by this archaic policy of ours that was not only ridiculous in nature, but more to the point, it was damaging to society as a whole.
And I think that you can make a pretty good argument for saying that a lot of these people that ended up doing drugs are the people that are most socially prone to being successful in doing things. And many times they are the people that ended up becoming politicians. They just didn't get caught.
Yeah.
But the people that did get caught, that's really holding back a lot of potential. The people that end up 17, 18 years old getting caught with weed. At 17, that'll stick on your record.
Of course it will.
You're in
Your
freaking
permanent
high school.
record.
Right.
Whatever that is.
Yeah, but it is something that you end up having to put out whenever you're doing the, applying for a random job.
So attitudes are changing. We baby stepped into it with the medical marijuana thing, and now we're moving into a phase of decriminalization, which is good, which is really good. There are numerous politicians around the country, mostly at the local level, the guys who have boots on the ground in communities that are being adversely affected by these sorts of policies. Mm-hmm. Those are the ones who have done most of the speaking up. You won't hear much from the United States Congress or the United States Senate. These people are useless. They say all politics is local. Well, the big changes, the major changes that will either affect our society in the positive or the negative are going to come from the local level. And let's go back to New York City, where Michael Bloomberg made another big announcement yesterday, on the heels, by the way, of Governor Cuomo's announcement. Now, this is the entire state of New York now falling in line here. Michael Bloomberg, of course, made news last week when he said he wants to ban all soft drinks sold in the city of New York that are over the size of 16 ounces. A lot of people wanted to have a problem with this, but there was so little backlash. Did you notice that there was I expected there to be people, big fat people on the street going, I gotta have my super double gulp, that whole thing. No, you really don't need it. That's an obnoxious size for any. Look, I say as a guy who's got a 32-ounce McDonald's cup, okay? I buy it because it's available. If it wasn't available, I wouldn't buy it, and I'd probably be infusing my body with about 70% less high fructose corn syrup, which may explain why I'm fat.
They say that's the number one thing that you can do is get rid of sodas, and it's so difficult to do.
It is. It's an addiction.
Yeah.
So Coca-Cola. See, I don't drink coffee. I don't drink Red Bull. I don't do any of that. But I do like to have a Coca-Cola in the morning to get my day going. It's every bit an addiction as anything else.
Yep.
But except it's encouraged. I'm a part of the Pepsi generation.
My addictions all surface around liquids. So like
Liquids.
I have coffee.
GHB.
Yeah, coffee. I go from coffee into Monster in the middle of the day into beer, and then that's basically the cycle of my day.
Oh, that's nice. Okay,
Yeah.
so you take the coffee as a little bit of an eye-opener. You take the Monster when you start to crash a little bit, and then when you need to come down off the Monster, a little bit of alcohol.
The energy drink of the night.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, Dateline, New York City. New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg said Monday he would support New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's proposal to decrease arrests for marijuana possession during routine police stops. This according to the New York Times. The announcement comes days after Bloomberg's announced proposal to limit the size of sodas in the city. Here's what's happening. The New York City Police Department have what's called a stop and frisk policy. Okay? Where if
I've
they
actually partaken in this before.
stop
Yeah.
and frisk,
Yep.
where you've been stopped by a police officer and frisked.
In Central Park, yeah.
Yeah, no, this seems a bit
It's very, very odd.
hardcore, or
Yeah.
it seems a bit Orwellian. You know, I don't like the idea that at any given moment a uniformed representative of the bureaucracy can stop me and order me to empty my pockets. Do they have to have? From what I understand in this story, they don't even necessarily have to have cause. It's a New York, apparently in areas where drugs are sold and dealt and where there's gang violence and all of that stuff. The premise of this stop and frisk policy was to get guns off the street.
Right.
They were hoping to be able to get guns and weapons. But unfortunately, what's happening is virtually everyone they stop and frisk has weed on them. And so now they're putting everybody in jail. And now they got a long line of people waiting to go to jail for this. So that's the reason that Governor Cuomo and that Mayor Michael Bloomberg are saying, look, we're going to keep doing the stop and frisk because the end result is we're trying to get guns and we're trying to get felons off the street. But man, we're putting everybody in jail because during the stop and frisk, we're finding a bunch of weed. We're finding everybody's little stash of weed in their pocket and they're going to jail for it. Cuomo wants lawmakers to decriminalize possession of small amounts of marijuana in public view. Current state law results in the arrest of thousands of people for having small amounts of marijuana because they had been ordered to empty their pockets during routine police stops. The governor's proposal seeks to make possession of 25 grams or less of marijuana in public view a violation instead of a misdemeanor. Now, what is 25 grams?
25 grams.
This is where it's good to have a friend who's a drug dealer. They can always do the drug math.
It's just less than an ounce. So
25 grams is less than an ounce?
yeah, just less. Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot.
Oh yeah, it's a good amount. Yeah.
An ounce of weed, I mean, don't people buy it at an eighth at a time or a quarter at a time? And that's an
Really
eighth of
high
an
quality.
ounce or a quarter of an ounce at a time.
Yeah, but I think that most of the time, if you're gonna have like an ounce, if you're just walking around, it's your personal stash. It's probably gonna be a lower quality weed. So an ounce goes for about $50-$60.
I mean, an ounce would last me 6 weeks. I mean, a long time. I mean, an
Yeah.
ounce is an ounce is a lot. Anyway,
It's a good amount.
That seems like a an overly fair number. You know, I mean, if I was on the mayor's advisory board when he floated this, I might raise my hand and go, you know, an ounce is kind of a lot. You know, an ounce, you can break that up and you can be selling that. Anyone who has an ounce is typically selling that, breaking it up
Yeah.
into quarters and eighths and selling it.
Well, if it is
I would
like a
think.
hydro, if it's like a really high quality, then you can break it down and sell it by grams.
Well, I would
and stuff
only
like
know
that.
about the high grade stuff, Jimmy.
Well, of course.
I don't waste my time with any of that ditchweed.
Yeah,
They call it.
The ditchweed, on the other hand, I mean, like you can blow through that pretty quick.
It says here the governor's proposal seeks to make possession of 25 grams or less of marijuana a public view, a violation instead of a misdemeanor. The maximum fine would be $100 for first-time offenders, and there would be absolutely no possibility of jail time whatsoever.
Nice.
This is a major step forward for society in general.
Yep.
It doesn't matter, folks, if you've never taken a puff of marijuana in your life. That is not what this is about. This is about imprisoning large segments of our society for something that is essentially benign.
I've been caught with and actually ended up having to go to jail for like 45 minutes over a joint and like maybe a couple grams.
Grams of what?
Just really
Weed?
crappy weed, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And you okay, so your night was ruined. Whatever, you know, I mean,
But I would much rather have gotten a ticket where I can just pay into the
Right.
system. You know, that's all I really needed to do. I didn't need to stop. I didn't
Now,
need
here's
them
my
to
question.
drive me anywhere.
Are you gonna take my weed? You know, I mean,
That's what I asked.
Are you gonna take it,
yeah.
or is it just like, do I get my fine? Okay, I'll pay my fine, but do I get to keep the small amount of weed that you just
Yeah.
found on me? Because I gotta be honest with you, if you take it, I'm just gonna go back into the park and buy more.
Yeah.
We're just gonna repeat this cycle.
And they have to know that. I mean, of course they know that. You know, and I think that the police would be the very first people to actually come out in masses saying that they would like to see weed at least decriminalized because they're tired of dealing with it.
Well, no, that's almost every police officer that I know, and I don't know as many as I used to, but every single one of them, to a man, say that they are tired of arresting people for marijuana. They themselves, who are in the trenches, who would deal with it every day, know that there is a difference between violent drug offenders and a guy who's got a little bit of weed in his pocket. There's a massive difference. The difference is the guy with a little bit of weed in your pocket could very well be the honor student at the local high school. The guy who's the violent criminal with a pocket full of methamphetamine is probably the guy that stole your car stereo. There is a difference between the two types of people.
Yeah.
And we're ruining people's lives, and it's great to see Governor Cuomo, and it's great to see Michael Bloomberg recognizing this and standing up as not just politicians, and as I said earlier, all politics is local, and everything that changes our society starts at the local level. This is beautiful that it happens in the largest city in America, in one of our most populated states, one of the most important states in the Union, New York, the governor. This is a very progressive sort of view, and to have it come out of a place like that is wonderful.
Yeah, and it needed to happen because, I mean, like, as you're walking around downtown New York, you smell weed.
Do you? Really? Yeah, I haven't been to New
And,
York
like,
in a while.
In many areas, yeah, you're definitely going to be smelling weed, just like drifting down. It's a lot like San Francisco that way.
Do you know what happened to David Crosby? Did you ever hear the story of David Crosby? Bruce, you may remember this. David Crosby, his battles with the Texas police. David Crosby almost went to jail for life. David Crosby, of course, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, almost went to jail for life for having 3 joints in his pocket. He spent years in a Texas jail over 3 joints.
You just you see the wrong guy. I mean, like, that's the problem. Is that when I got arrested, I ended up getting out. The guy ended up finding the weed. He was apparently on a mission. I mean, like, this guy single-handedly was going to get rid of the drug problem. That's the feeling I got off of this guy. Another guy ends up pulling up. He's the one who's going to end up taking me to the police station. I get in the back. This guy's much nicer. He's like, so that's it?
That's all you did?
Yeah. He was like, you know, I'm really. He actually came out really honest. He was like, I'm really tired of dealing with that guy. Like, he didn't really care for the guy. And he said that a lot of people on the force didn't really care for him either. And
Yeah,
I ran into the wrong guy.
You do. You got the over-officious cop with the chip on his shoulder who is, Johnny Lawman.
Yeah, anybody else would have. I've gotten to the point with police where, like, because I'm very open about smoking pot, like, that I'll just be like, hey, do you want this?
And the more people that are, I think that's actually, I don't know if I would call it brave, but I think it's progressively important. The more people
Necessary.
who stop hiding it and start speaking openly about what their vices are, certainly when it comes to something like marijuana, which we're all hoping gets decriminalized. I mean, it's a ridiculous policy. But the more people like you and me who have casual conversations where we discuss these things like adults, the more it will become slowly more accepted. I remember the first time that I ever talked about smoking weed on the radio in Dallas. It was like 8 years ago, and I got pulled in after the show. I got pulled into the program director's office, and I got lectured about this stuff. And I go, look, we do real radio. We talk about real stuff. We try and relate to people, in the way that they relate to one another. I mean, we have to do this stuff. We have to talk about this stuff. Well, that was when they just wanted us to talk about our sex lives.
Right.
Let's just talk about your sex life. Like, well, honestly, the weed has a lot to do with the sex life. How do you think I get the girls back to the apartment?
I can't separate the two there.
Yeah. All right, Ray Kelly, for those of you unfamiliar, is the superintendent of the New York City Police Department. Ray Kelly, police commissioner, says he issued a memorandum to all officers last September ordering them not to arrest people who only have marijuana. As a result of being ordered by police officers to empty their pockets. The governor's proposal is consistent with the commissioner's directive, Bloomberg said. However, there is evidence that Kelly's memorandum had little effect on low-level marijuana arrests. So, since last September, the commissioner of the New York City Police Department has told his beat officers, don't bust anybody for weed anymore. Please stop it. The jails are getting crap. I'm getting all kinds of crap from up high. We're just putting too many people in jail for this, so don't do it. But then it sounds like a bunch of cops refuse to not do it. And this is the power trip that I think cops get into. I think a cop, not all cops, but some cops see a couple of, kids doing something, you want to be a smart ass and throw you in jail. They're going to look for any reason to ruin that kid's day because they're miserable individuals. Yep. So the fact that it's now gone to the governor and the governor has put out a proposal and the mayor of New York City is saying the exact same thing, maybe now we'll get, a little bit of a moratorium on these kinds of prosecutions and arrests.
It's unbelievable. The governor and the mayor essentially had to come out and say, cops, do
Stop
what
it.
we told you already.
Yes.
I mean, that really is pretty amazing.
What do we got, a rogue police force?
Yeah.
What do you do? Now every kid that gets or anyone who gets busted with a little bit of weed, you're emboldened now to say, the governor told you not to do this.
Yeah.
The mayor told you not to do this. I read in the New York Times that Superintendent Kelly told you not to do this. Why are you arresting me for this? All of your bosses are going to be mad.
Here, look at my iPhone.
Yeah. See, look, here, let me play you the video from the press conference that Governor Cuomo had last Friday. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back once again, broadcasting live from the Mad Tavern, located conveniently right here at the intersection of Frankfurt and Preston in beautiful North Dallas, Texas. The Mad Tavern's got a full array of lunch menu items and dinner items. They also do a brunch on Saturdays and Sundays. I can't encourage you enough to come on out and try this new gem of a local saloon here in the North Dallas area, I should say, Frankfurt and Preston. It's PMS, the Pugs Moran Show, taking a quick break. We'll be back. It's The Bar Live, thebarlive.com.
6. 6.
It's thebarlive.com, broadcasting live today from the beautiful, brand spanking new Mad Tavern located at the corner of Frankfurt and Preston in North Texas. How do I keep saying North Texas?
It's also North Texas.
It is North Texas, but specifically North Dallas, Texas.
For anybody who's coming from South Texas, wants to know the general direction to start
Sure,
heading.
yeah. Or, if you're in Boston, we would, just throw a rock towards North Texas, and you'll be in our general area. All right, let's see. We're about to order lunch here from the Mad Tavern. I've decided, Jimmy, that I'm going to go with the Mad Tavern Reuben sandwich.
I'm going with the bangers and mash.
Our friend Bruce is here, and he got some kind of sausage and sauerkraut, some kind of German kind of a deal going on there.
Sauerkraut, man. That's something that we've really got to start putting in more 7-Elevens.
Man, I love sauerkraut.
Yeah.
I love and I'm smelling the sauerkraut. And that's what I want a Reuben. Because I'm looking there, they got a special. They got a corned beef and cabbage special.
Yeah.
Which is probably delicious. But it didn't, I want the corned beef, but I also want the sauerkraut. So that's where you go with the Reuben. Now, bangers and mash. What the hell is that?
Bangers and mash. I believe it's just basically like the hot dogs and mashed potatoes, right?
I don't know. I'm asking you. I don't know. It's
Yeah, I was actually thinking about going with the Reuben as well, though, because that is kind of the best of both worlds. You get the corned beef and
the sauerkraut and good rye bread. Depending on how they do it, a Thousand Island or a house sort of dressing that they put on there. Some sort of a house Reuben sauce. All right, let's see here. A couple of things. Amanda Bynes. You remember Amanda Bynes?
I know her from somewhere. Where is
she
this?
is your generation. She is totally your generation. Well, actually, she's younger than you. But she's one of those. She came up. I think she might be one of the Disney kids. She might be she was on a Disney show, but then she grew up.
Really cute girl.
Really cute, blonde, and she is a mess. She's 25 years old.
Is she really?
Oh, she's the new Lindsay Lohan.
Oh, good for her.
Oh, good for her, right? I know. It's like Lindsay Lohan is kind of getting her act together. She's been quiet for a while. Nicole Richie doesn't go to jail anymore for anything. Paris Hilton is sort of fallen by the wayside. Kim Kardashian, never really did anything bad, but we don't have any just hot mess train wreck young little tramps anymore.
And I expect Disney and Nickelodeon to be spitting these things out, at least on a yearly basis.
Right.
Something new for us to, kind of check out while they grow up.
Well, you know what they do? They produce probably 10 of these a year. And by these, I mean these young future pop stars or whatever, young teen pop stars. And they don't all, go crazy. They don't all have these interesting sort of issues. But every once in a while, one does, and it's a lot of fun.
And, every once in a while, you're really hoping for it for, someone like Amanda Bynes. Because she seemed way too reserved to ever do this.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. Her image was she was like a good girl.
Yeah.
She was like, but so was Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan was a good girl. And then somebody hacked her phone, and we saw pictures of her cutting up giant lines of cocaine with a butcher knife. We all got a different impression of what Lindsay Lohan was.
Wow.
Amanda Bynes insists she didn't drive under the influence back in April, pleading not guilty today to DUI. Amanda wasn't in court. Her lawyers entered the plea on her behalf. TMZ broke the story that Amanda was charged with 1 count of misdemeanor DUI, and the DA has sought a sentencing enhancement because the actress refused to take either a breathalyzer or a blood test. Now, do you know what she did? She did
the right thing.
No, she did. Well, she did do the right thing.
Yeah.
You refuse.
Yeah.
Don't give them any evidence to prosecute you.
Right.
Do not give them anything. And remember that everything you say and everything that you do is being recorded. And when you go to court, if they have no evidence, if you didn't blow or you refuse to do that, the only evidence that they will have on you is your tape. Remember, you're being recorded.
Right.
Don't talk. Don't talk, because every time you slur a word in court, a prosecutor's going to go, you hear that, judge? You hear that? He's slurring his word. Don't talk, and you're not safe in the back seat of the car either. Most people get screwed on their way to jail sitting in the back seat of the car chatting up the cops.
Yeah.
You're being recorded, and they will show that to a judge, and the judge is going to go, oh, that dude's wasted. Don't do that. Be polite. Yes, sir. No, sir. Sorry. I respectfully can't do that. I understand that I have to go to jail now, so let's get this over with.
Let's do that, yeah.
Do that. Also, here's another tip for you, okay? When you get brought in for your DUI, they're going to put you in a room, and it's going to be like a big empty room with one chair, and they're going to put you in there. They're not too busy to be dealing with you. No, they're giving you more time to perform in front of the camera. They want to see what you're going to do when you're alone. If you're like slumping around or kicking the wall or anything like that, they're going to use that again. Sit in the chair, fold your hands on your lap, and be quiet.
Yeah.
Don't sway from side to side, like you're a little bit drunk. Don't shuffle around from foot to foot. That is the most important thing. The tape. People always get screwed on the tape.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yes, it's the tape. That is it. Because a lot of people know don't give them a breathalyzer.
Yeah.
If you believe that you might in fact be close and you don't want them to have this evidence to convict you in court, don't give it to them. Understand you're going to jail for the night, because that's the other side of it, but I'd rather go to jail for a night than have to deal with what comes with having this conviction. You've got to give yourself
the next few years, because that's what it will be.
That's it. It's going to be horrible. Going through a DUI experience is one of the worst things that anybody can go through. It's terrible. It puts everything. It puts your job in jeopardy. It's just an absolutely awful situation. Now, before she refused to give a breathalyzer and all that stuff, here's what she did. Oh, and by the way, the reason that you see all these celebrities refusing to do that is because they're all lawyered up before. They've all been told by really good attorneys, hey, look, should you ever find yourself in athletes too. Pro athletes never give breathalyzers. Because their agents say, hey, look, we need to go over a few things. If you're out partying and you get a DUI, don't give them a breathalyzer. Don't give them anything. Go to jail. We'll work it out in the morning. These are the people that are in the know, and this is what they do. So you, average Joe and Jane citizen, do what they do. Trust me, in the long run, it's going to be much better for you. All right, so she did do the right thing in refusing to give a breathalyzer. However, she did the absolute worst thing that you can do if you are trying to be cool behind the wheel of a car while drinking. She hit a cop car. She sideswiped a cop car, making a right turn on Hollywood Boulevard, and kept going.
And kept going.
Kept going, yeah.
Oh, well, that definitely took a turn for exciting. Wow.
They chased her down and caught her, but yeah, she sideswiped the cop car and just went, I'm Amanda Bynes.
Nice.
It says here, if convicted with the sentencing enhancement, we're told that Bynes faces a minimum of 48 hours in jail and a maximum of 6 months. Because of jail overcrowding, it is unlikely that Bynes will serve more than a few hours. A pretrial court date has been set for July 18th. For her part, Amanda tweeted after she was charged yesterday, writing, hey, Barack Obama, I don't drink. Please fire the cop who arrested me. You do drink. You've been drunk before. This is not the first time Amanda Bynes has been in the tabloids, if you will, for having one too many.
You know what, though? It's okay. I'm looking at her. She's so cute. She's fine.
She is so cute, right? It's like you almost want to give her a break on that.
Yeah.
All right, do you watch the Kardashians?
No, I am aware of them.
Yeah.
One of them had a show here, right?
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with that. That's Chloe. The show that I like is the one I've only watched. All right, I've seen bits and pieces, but last season I did watch the entire Keeping Up with Kim Kardashian or whatever that show is, because it was the one where Chris Humphries. She had the shotgun wedding, or not a shotgun wedding. It was a pretty quick wedding though. And then she had like a quick divorce. It was just.
She got married to somebody.
She got married to Chris Humphries, New Jersey Nets basketball player. They lasted like 72 days or something like that. But at any rate, they filmed the whole thing. So I was intrigued to see, what was going on there. Was that ever a real relationship or whatever?
And was it?
Well, here's what I would say. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to make of it. Here's what I do know. I know that Chris Humphries, and he says that it was the way it was edited. Chris Humphries was a dick. Just a total dick.
Yeah.
If you've got Kim Kardashian and Chris Humphries, and I'm watching them navigate their relationship, and I come away with the feeling that Chris Humphries is the dick, he's a major dick. Because you would think everything that Kim would do in a relationship would probably be reprehensible to my way of looking at things. But he was so over-the-top dicky to her that there was not even a competition.
Wow.
It was just like. So at any rate, apparently he is now dating someone new, a girl named Mila Sinaj. She's really hot.
Yeah,
Actually,
sounds like a hot name.
looks like Kim Kardashian.
Well, yeah, kind of like a broke version of Kim Kardashian.
A broke version?
Yeah.
All right. Well, look, I appreciate that because I think Kim Kardashian is one of the most beautiful people I've ever seen in real life up close.
Right.
I mean, she's just flawless to
Yeah.
look at. You're like, oh my God. They broke the mold with this girl. But he definitely has a type. I mean, that is definitely the type.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you'd be crazy not to see the similarities.
Well, she's going off on rants now. Apparently, she's getting territorial with her new man, Chris Humphries. She is saying that apparently, I'll read this. Mila has been tweeting constantly since she began dating Humphries in mid-January, frequently about Kim and the men in her life. Just a couple of weeks ago, she unloaded on Bruce Jenner, writing, now, do you even remember Bruce Jenner? Or is
No.
Bruce, you don't even know who Bruce Jenner is, do you?
I only, from this whole thing, I have no idea who we're talking about except for the Kim Kardashian people.
But, okay,
I mean, like,
but
and I
Bruce
really don't
Jenner
know them.
is an entity unto himself. You
Okay.
don't know who he is?
No.
Ah, Jimmy.
At what point was my life going to be impacted by not knowing this Bruce character?
Well, it's just common, cultural knowledge.
Yeah.
And I don't know. All right, you know how athletes appear on Wheaties boxes?
Okay, yeah.
He was the first. He started
Okay.
that whole thing. He was the first athlete that they put on a Wheaties box.
Awesome. Used to love Wheaties.
Okay. Well, maybe as a kid you saw the little Bruce Jenner icon.
Okay.
Bruce Jenner was an athlete, an American Olympic athlete, who was essentially the Michael Phelps of his era.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure you know who Michael Phelps is.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well,
But see, I only know people if they get known for something else.
like Michael Phelps got caught smoking weed.
Didn't know him before then. Like that's
it,
when
that's
like
it.
Lindsay Lohan
You don't
didn't
remember
know
him
she
winning
was.
8 gold medals. You don't remember that? You
I
don't
didn't pay
remember?
attention.
Really?
I was just like,
okay,
nah,
just a couple
okay.
of years ago. I mean, it was
Yeah.
on the news. They did a story about it.
Yeah, I was kind of tired of it though, and
Yeah.
I was gonna let it go. I was
All
just
right.
gonna let it go, and then all of a sudden he got busted for weed, and I'm like, well, this is now a name that I'll remember.
All right. Well, it doesn't even make any. And now I feel like I can't even finish the story because you don't know who Bruce Jenner is.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, Chris Humphries' new girlfriend is saying that Bruce Jenner is a plastic surgery nightmare. And she's taking some criticism for it because he's an American hero and people love Bruce Jenner. But she is absolutely right. We've crossed over in the last couple of years. It used to be women were the ones that were the crazy plastic surgery nightmare cases,
Yeah.
right? Now I'm seeing more and more guys, and Bruce Jenner is a great example of a dude who just he got one too many procedures. He doesn't look normal anymore. There are fantastic plastic surgeons out there. I mean, if you've been to any of the Dallas gentlemen's clubs, you'll admire their work on a nightly basis. I mean, Dallas has probably the best plastic surgeons that you can find anywhere. I mean, most of the really popular techniques were developed here in Dallas, or at least in this area.
That's why
Breast
we do
implants
have-
were invented here.
Yeah, it's why we do have such nice strip clubs.
We do, because
Yeah.
because plastic surgery, there are so many top quality plastic surgeons. Of course, rsplastic.com would be the one that we would recommend here on the bar live. But there are other people. If you want not the best, you can go to others as well. And Dallas happens to have a high concentration of talented plastic surgeons. But we're seeing more and more guys now. You go to the Galleria on a Sunday afternoon. I go there with my son all the time because they've got a wicked cool play area.
Yeah.
And we'll go, and I will see these guys, these North Dallas type dudes in their 50s, who just look awful, and they think they look good. They look like mutations.
Oh, man.
You want to know what another good example is? Bruce Jenner is a great example. Jerry Jones.
Yes.
Have you seen the owner of the Cowboys?
Yeah, it's really bad,
He
and
looks
it's only gonna get
terrible.
worse. Yeah.
He looks terrible. And yet he looks in the mirror every day and thinks he looks good. Meanwhile, everyone behind his back comments on how terrible he looks.
Guys just don't need to do this. I mean, like,
No.
for guys, I mean,
Well, now the guy can have a little procedure here or there, but the full
like, what would you
on-
recommend?
I don't know. I don't know enough about
But,
plastic
like,
surgery.
Really? Is there any need? I mean, like, usually guys age, I mean, like, obviously, once you tip over to the other end, I mean, like, you're gonna look old. You know, but like I'm talking about like through a long way through your life, you don't need anything. You're gonna be a guy who's aging.
We're going to have 90-year-olds that look like 60-year-olds. We are, aren't we?
I think that we're going to, and it's gonna be really creepy. I think that guys don't really need it. I mean, like girls, I understand. Girls want to always be, you know, as young as possible. But guys age a little bit more gracefully. It's a little bit more taken care of. You know what I mean? Like
It's kind of
it's part of it.
it's kind of femmy, you know, for
It
a guy
is.
to like be so obsessed with, you know, I don't know. Right. Plastic surgery. I mean, look, there are reasons to get plastic surgery, but these examples that we're throwing out here, Bruce Jenner, distracted.
Yeah.
Bruce Jenner, Jerry Jones, and have you seen Kenny Rogers? Do you even know who Kenny Rogers is, Jimmy?
I do know who Kenny Rogers is.
Have you seen Kenny
The
Rogers?
chicken guy, right?
The chicken guy? The chicken guy. Oh, yeah, I guess he did have, like that fast food chain, right?
Okay, the same guy.
Well, yeah, it's the same guy, but
All right.
the gambler, dude.
I don't know.
The gambler means nothing to you?
No.
You gotta know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when you don't know this song? He was the Black Lionel Richie. How's that?
Okay.
How's that? At the time when Lionel Richie was winning all the awards for the more black dancey music, Kenny Rogers was winning equal amounts in the white section
Okay.
of music. I don't know what to call that.
Everything was still segregated.
Everything was still segregated. Yes, he was. He was. I always thought of him as he was the white, and Barbara Mandrell was the white Donna Summer. Who you didn't even know who Donna Summer was.
No.
God, Jimmy.
Yeah.
This is going to be a recurring theme on this show as I just stumble across pop culture references and then see your deadpan look of, yeah? Well,
It is. I don't know why, but like for some reason, and I've started noticing it ever since I started doing this show, because you do bring it up quite a bit. Like when somebody gives me pop information, things that might be in like a movie trivia or like music trivia, I hear it and I let it go. Like I just let it go immediately.
You got to store that, man. You got to find a place for that.
Oh,
It'll
but
come
I
up in
just,
conversation.
because I think that I just detach myself so much that I just don't have anywhere in there that I can attach it to.
It amazes me that you didn't know Donna Summer.
Uh-huh.
You didn't even know Amanda Bynes until you looked her up.
Right.
And she's
Very
someone
cute.
that you should know.
Yeah.
you
I knew her
don't-
by face. I've seen her.
You don't know Bruce Jenner.
Uh-huh.
You don't know, but you know who Chad Myers is.
Oh, I love Chad Myers.
This is what I don't. You know who like the sometimes CNN weather guy, Chad
yeah.
Myers. You know who he is.
He's
and you're
brilliant.
Allison Cossack. You know who Allison Cossack is, but you don't know who any
Yeah.
of these other people are.
Yeah, I just for some reason I'll find myself geeking out and only seeing TV if somebody else has it on, and I'll be like, oh look, that seems like a very attractive girl.
Well, if it's not online, I guess it's not happening in your world, huh?
That's I guess that's what it is.
All right, that's about it. I got nothing else. What else is going on today? We should do a TV report, but like I said, I want to do the watch list every day, but we're in the dog days of the summer, and there's really not much to watch. I will say this. I watched last night. I'm all caught up. Yesterday I was talking to Brandon about my new favorite show, The Devil's Ride on Discovery, about it's a reality series that centers around a San Diego motorcycle club. They're an MC, not a gang. They're a motorcycle club. I'm all caught up there. Love that show. If you have an opportunity to check that out, see it. Tonight, you know what? I'm going to do this real quick. Okay? I wanted to talk about this story out of Cincinnati where a kid didn't get his high school diploma because his family cheered for him after the principal said there will be no cheering till the end. And so, because his family cheered for him, he's now got to do 20 hours of community service, which is a complete overuse of power, but okay.
Well, this happened here locally too. You remember that, right?
No.
Basically, it happened at a few different schools. In all the schools, high schools around here, what you do is, it happened at ours as well, you have a huge prank that the school all knows about. The last day of school after finals, you go out and pull the prank. For ours, it was everybody had hidden shaving cream, and you'd have a shaving cream fight all the way home.
All right.
So
Sounds fun.
Yeah. Apparently, one of the other high schools put like Vaseline all over the school wall or floor, and it was like a skating rink, so you
All
could
right.
skate around.
That sounds fun.
Another one was a noodle fight. The little pool noodles. They all hid them in their backpacks, and then had pool noodle fights on the way out of school.
All right.
It's all fun.
Innocent, Norman Rockwell,
Yeah.
all-American fun.
Exactly. Not a single speck of one of those things where you're like, oh, that's horrible. Well, they decided to pull the video from this and get all the kids and say that they aren't going to be walking the stage with everybody during graduation.
Oh, okay. That's nice. That's not being over officious or being a complete stick in the mud.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes these adults just. We talked about this earlier when we were discussing the concert situation that happened out there in Grand Prairie. Mm-hmm. All right, I'll give you the quick story that I was going to tell. So there's this kid. He was a popular football player, and apparently there was a big graduating class. And when his name was called, he came up and he got up on the stage, and his whole family, applauded for him. They went crazy. He was not given his diploma like everyone else. And this was a snap decision. He was not given his diploma. He was told to speak with the principal after the ceremony. And after the ceremony, the principal said that you will not get your diploma until you complete 20 hours of community service, because we asked everyone not to cheer. And this kid's argument, now he's got to go out and get a lawyer, and they're going to sue. I hope they sue the hell. You know what? I hope they sue the hell out of this school for ruining a moment that this kid could argue in court that he worked his entire life towards. And this over-officious bully of a school administrator decided to use whatever power he had, and he screwed over a moment that has now been destroyed in this kid's history. That was me as the lawyer. That was me arguing as the lawyer.
It's wearing me down.
I gotta ask a question.
Uh-huh.
Are there triplets, or does the same girl keep walking by?
Oh yeah, no, there's another door back here.
Oh, is
And,
there?
Yeah.
Oh, this really attractive girl. 6 different super hot girls keep on. Oh, it's the same girl. She's walked in 3 times, and then I see her go into the restaurant. Is she? Hey, drop your pants and lay on the hood of your car. That'll work. God, she's really hot. I thought maybe she was like a Sunbrew girl or something. All right, before we do get out of here, let's have a chat here with Rich, the owner-proprietor here at the beautiful Mad Tavern Bar and Grill, located conveniently for all of you North Texas Denzians right here at the corner of Frankfurt and Preston. Hi, Rich. How are you?
Pretty good, thank you. Thank you guys for coming on out.
No,
appreciate it.
Look, any chance that I get to discover a brand new place, and you guys have only been in business for what, 3-4 months now?
3 months, yeah.
3
Nice.
months? Tell us about the theme here. We've been trying to explain it. Well, it's just simple Alice in Wonderland. What was the thought behind that? Was that your concept, or is that somebody else's concept?
Actually, it was my partner's concept. He was the founder, and he's been to a lot of the European bars. There was a place called Delirium. We wanted to actually name it Delirium. We actually wanted to name it Delirium, and that didn't work out. Mad Tavern.
You know what Delirium sounds like? Delirium sounds like the kind of place that I would go on ecstasy and dance until 3 o'clock in the morning.
Well, we wanted it to be that kind of environment. We want to make it fun,
We wanna
local
be
for
a-
the neighborhood.
okay,
I don't know
alright.
about the ecstasy stuff, but we want to make it local for the neighborhood. People feel like they could come, relax, become part of the neighborhood. We want to fit into
You made
that
the right
neighborhood.
choice with Tavern. That's what
Yeah.
Tavern says to me.
That's right.
Tavern says neighborhood.
And we're more of a, not just the pub, and again, pub food. We're more of a gastro pub, a European concept, where we consider it a high-end food offering. It's all home cooking, made from scratch, high-quality products, European themed, like our bangers and mash, which is a spicy beef sausage and bratwurst type pork sausage over mashed potatoes with a Port Butte gravy, beer-based. It's fabulous. Our corned beef and cabbage is also authentic, and I think we have a unique offering on that. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's what I commented on yesterday, is that, you walk into 9.5 out of 10 taverns, bars, saloons, whatever you want to call them, and you're going to get the same selection. You're going to get buffalo wings. You're going to get some Tex-Mex item. It's a very slipshod, throw anything at the wall. Whatever people want is what we'll do. You've got a full-on theme that when you open up your menu, you're confronted immediately with choices that you can't find anywhere else.
Absolutely.
Where else are you going to go in North Dallas right now and get corned beef and cabbage for $5.49? Is that what that says?
I believe so.
$5.49.
Yes.
or a Reuben sandwich, stuff like that. Pasta, you can get pasta. I mean, this is not the
Or how
sort of
about
fare.
our Two Towers, which I brought out for you guys, which is
Oh, wow.
English muffin with turkey on one and ham on the other, covered with cheese sauce and served with fries. You can't find that anywhere else.
Yeah, what is this called?
What we call Two Towers.
Wow, that looks delicious.
Let me get this in the
Yeah,
shot.
see, this is put it on the camera so people can see this. This is the kind of stuff we've been talking about. The food here, it is not typical fare. I'm not saying that it's foreign. It's not anything you're gonna go, oh, that doesn't sound right. It's all recognizable and familiar, but it's not typical.
Our Scotch eggs, which there are other offerings here, but I think we're unique to that. Our cheese sticks, we do a standard mozzarella as well as a Edam cheese, which is a softer, more European base, which they use. Our European nachos, our homemade chips.
We were talking about the European nachos all day today. That's a really nice. That's a nice item. The potato
Yeah.
chips instead of the corn chips, the corned beef instead of the beef. That's a really interesting concept. Did you guys create that, or was that sort of something you'd seen
It was
somewhere
something
else?
we've seen. My partner saw in Europe, and we brought it back. I mean, that's what they eat in some of the Scottish and Irish bars.
Yeah.
That's their version of it. So we adopted it.
Let me ask you something. Do you know what a chip buddy is?
I actually don't.
You don't know?
No.
Okay, this is. I'm from Chicago, a very Irish neighborhood.
You and me
we have-
both. Where from?
Where about you?
I grew up in Cicero on the west side.
Sister, you're a West Sider. All right, you're not a North Sider. That's good with me. I'm South Side, Beverly area.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, like 79th and Western, and then I moved out south to Orland Park when I went into high school.
31st and Laramie.
Look at
I was
that.
right by Sportsman's.
I knew
you
there
know?
was something about you that I liked. All right, so the Chip Buddy is an Irish tavern staple. Basically, it's a hollowed out. Take like a piece of French bread, you hollow it out, and then you stuff it with French fries.
Really?
You stuff it with French fries, and then you put maybe some onions or some kind of like whatever, maybe some tomatoes. I like it just with the onions and bacon. Then they put like some pieces of chopped up bacon in
that
there.
sounds good.
And then they pour brown gravy in it, and you eat it like a pocket sandwich, and it is
Wow.
delicious.
Really?
It is the greatest. It's the greatest hangover food. It's just
Well,
it's perfect.
you know what? We'll try that next time you're out. I'll do it on a feature for us.
Look it up online. I mean, you just go to recipes.com, and they'll have all kinds
Cool.
of recipes for chip
Well,
buddies. Some
being
people
from
put
Chicago,
cheese.
One of the things we're offering, I'm doing a Italian sausage sandwich right now with green peppers and onions, just like my uncle was Scatchels on Laramie and 31st, Cicero and Cermak.
Now
I
you're
grew up there.
Now you're
so-
from the west side. You're over there by Cicero Melrose Park. You're over in that
Right,
area. Now
yeah.
you gotta know that there is nowhere in this town you can find a nice Italian beef sandwich.
No, and that's next
what-
up on the list.
Well, I gotta give me a good Italian
Yeah,
beef sandwich.
You will get a good Italian beef sandwich with homemade giardiniera as well. I'm already boiling. I'm cooking off the giardiniera.
Ooh.
Give me about 4
Nobody knows
days.
what giardiniera is.
No, they don't. Oh
it's
my
the
God!
best.
Yes, it is.
All right, very good. All kinds of a great place. If you're here in the North Dallas area, if you work around the Frankfort and Preston area, I see all of these buildings. We got plenty of friends who work around here, or maybe you just live in the neighborhood. You need to know about the Mad Tavern. It's brand new, 3 months. It's a beautiful environment. You walk inside, the decorations are gorgeous. It's a cool theme. It's an Alice in Wonderland theme.
Awesome beer selection as well.
Yes, yeah. And if you're a big beer fan, a European beer fan, beers that you really can't get at your just local watering hole, they've got them here. Chances are that they're up here and available for you. All right, we're gonna wrap things up. Rich, oh, by the way, we decided what we wanted for lunch. Tell us about what you think. What are you going with?
Oh, I'm gonna do the bangers and mash.
You're gonna love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
absolutely.
cool.
I'm gonna try the Reuben.
Oh, you'll love the Reuben
The
as
Reuben?
well. Which is our corned beef, which is one of the features.
I want to try your corned beef. Yeah. Okay. Very good. All right. That's gonna do it. I guess the next couple of days. Well, there's going to be no difference in the show, right?
Right.
We're going to be doing the show like normal. The rest of the crew is down there in Austin. They're going to be hanging out at the Rot Rally, which is the big biker festival that goes on every year down there. But you and I are not going.
No, and then also coming up here in an hour, YNR.
Oh, YNR is going to be live from here.
Yes.
I had no idea.
Yep.
Cool.
All right, very good. So if you want to come on by, have a happy hour celebration with the guys from YNR, Austin, Joey, Patrick, they're all going to be out here as well at the Mad Tavern. Plenty of time to get down here for that. Frankfort and Preston, located in beautiful, sunny North Dallas. Frankfort and Preston. Yeah, everybody knows where that is. All right, we'll take a nice 22-hour break, and we'll be back tomorrow with more of PMS, the Pugs Moran Show, on thebarlive.com.